Hi, Rabbi.
Try some guitar stylings while we wait with doing it. We have like a minute to go before we start. Hi, Eileen.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. I got to speak to my father today because we were reminiscing about when he was being called to arms with when he was with the Air Force. There was the Cuban Missile Crisis. Very scary time. Very scary time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Speaking of Veterans Day.
Yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think Steve's father also served. I don't know which branch of the armed services
He was in the Army, but his mother was very ill, and as an only child, he stayed stateside during the Korean War.
Got it.
Okay, everybody, I think we are going to go ahead and get started since it is 5 o'clock.
Sounds good. So we are going to start with a little singing. We're going to start with the Tree of Life, and so we have some movements for it, so I hope you'll join me. And we'd love it if you, those who are here with us on Zoom, if you'd turn your cameras on so we can see you. It is a tree of life to them that hold fast to it, and all of its supporters, you have to imagine you're lifting a Torah, are happy. It is a tree of life to them that hold fast to it, and all of its supporters are happy. You guys look amazing, and now we're going to swim. Shalom, shalom. Shalom, shalom. Shalom, shalom. Shalom, shalom. One more time. It is a tree of life to them that hold fast to it, and all of its supporters are happy. It is a tree of life to them that hold fast to it, and all of its supporters are happy. Here we go. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Shalom, shalom. Shalom, shalom. Shalom, shalom. Shalom. Peace out.
Peace out. Shalom, Cantor.
Shalom, Rabbi.
Shalom, all my friends. It's good to see you all here. It's good to see you guys swimming and lifting and holding fast to yourselves. It's great to see all of your faces, those of you that have your cameras on. We are going to get started here with some praying. We're going to do a little bit of singing. We're going to do a little bit of learning. So if everybody's ready, let's take a deep breath. And let's get ready to roll.
All right, Rabbi, you ready to do a little rapping?
I mean, I've done a little rapping in my day.
All right.
I'm ready.
I said ho. I said hey. I said, are you ready to pray?
I said ho. I said hey. I said, are you ready to pray?
Listen up, listen up, listen up, listen up. Let's come together to pray.
Listen up, listen up, listen up, listen up. Let's come together to pray. Oh.
I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That is how we make a minion.
I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That is how we make a minion.
I said hey. I said you. Now let's all stand up for Baruch.
I said hey. I said you. Now let's all stand up for Baruch.
And now it is time for our prayer for the evening. Our nights are it's getting darker a little earlier. This prayer just kind of calls us to look out the window, notice that light rolling into darkness. And I hope that you'll be trumpets with me as we sing this together. Ba-da-ba, ba-ba-ba, 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 ba-ba-ba. The light is fading, the night is waiting for you and me. Let's rearrange the stars. The mystery lies in the color of the skies, and the words are on your lips that speak the evening into me. Ba-da-ba, ba-ba-ba, ba-da-ba, ba-ba-ba, ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. The sun's gone missing, the moon is whispering my name, but I have to listen close. The arc of its ascension commands my full attention. The sky provides a backdrop of purples and blues. Ba-da-ba, ba-ba-ba, 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 ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. The light is fading, the night is waiting for you and me. Let's rearrange the stars. Baruch atah Adonai, Amari Varavi. Now we move into our Shema. So everyone, take a nice breath. Get ready for Shema. And here we go. You all may be seated as we continue on with our Ve'ahavta. And we have been learning some of those little trope symbols, that secret code that teaches us how to chant Torah, which of course the Ve'ahavta is Torah. So we're going to pull up the slide for Ve'ahavta and get ready to chant. We've learned we learned the pink, which is our end of the sentence, and we're going to do those moves along with those words. And we learned the end of the green, which was the wishbone, or I'm not done yet. It's kind of like a little comma. So here we go. We're going to just chant not all of the Ve'ahavta yet, but some of it. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha uvechol nafshecha uvechol me'odecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ela asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha Vishinantam livanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha v'derech uvshochbecha uvkumecha. We're going to stop there for now. I just imagine that you're all chanting beautifully the Ve'ahavta. And so now we move to our Micha Mocha, that prayer the Israelites sang after they had crossed the Red Sea and they're looking out at the wilderness. They're really excited to be free, and so they sing, Who is like you, Adonai? Who is like you, Adonai?
All right, friends, in just a moment, we're going to move into our Amidah, the section of our service that we pray standing up. But before we stand up, just a word about the prayer that we're going to say. So as it happens, the section of the Torah that we read this week is about the movement of one generation of that first family of Jews into the next generation. Abraham and Sarah's lives come to an end, and the next generations begin. Isaac and Rebekah grow up, and they create the next generation of the first Jewish family. So those are the names of the people that we mention in this first prayer of the Amidah. We talk about, you'll hear the names Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And you'll hear the names Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, and Leah, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, the next generation. And so every time we say this prayer, we remember the generations of the Jewish people, and some of us will be thinking about the generations of our families and how all of those generations of our families and the history of our families led to us today and our opportunity to say these prayers. So let's think about those generations of our family. Let's all stand up together. We'll get ready to say the prayers of the Amidah.
Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi agite yipatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah. Ha'el hagadol hagibor ve'hanora, El Elyon, gomel chasadim tovim, ve'konei hakol, ve'zocher chasdei avot ve'imahot, u'mevi geula livnei v'neihem, liman shemo be'ahava, melech ozer u'moshiach u'magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah. We take a moment now for, those are the prayer. There are so many words we have in our prayers, but sometimes a prayer can just be something that we're thinking about ourselves, something that we carry in our heart, maybe just appreciating something in our lives. So we take a moment now to just silently maybe appreciate something, to just share the words of our heart with ourselves. You may be seated whenever you're ready.
Shall we jump into Ose Shalom, Cantor?
Yes, please.
All right, everybody, please join. Ose Shalom Bimroma. Uyase Shalom Aleinu. Le'ako Yisrael. Le'ako Yoshvei Tevel.
Thank you, Mr. Dom. So I want to share, my friends, I wanted to share a little bit more about the section from the Torah that we're reading this week. I told you just a minute ago that one of the things that's special about this week's Torah portion is that it talks about the generations of our ancestors, the generations of the earliest members of the Jewish people, the earliest members of that first Jewish family. One of the things that we learn about today is that as Isaac, who was Abraham and Sarah's son, is growing up, it becomes time for him to get married and find someone to spend his life with. And so one of the things that they used to do in the old days, which we don't really do so much anymore, is that when Isaac was growing up, his parents decided that it was their job to find the person that he would get married to. So I don't know if any of you have your parents making decisions about who you're going to get married to, but that's the way they used to do it in the olden days. And so Abraham and Sarah send their servant Eliezer out to find somebody for Isaac to meet and get married to, but they don't give him very much more instruction than that. They just send him out to go find a nice girl for Isaac to meet and get married to. And so when Eliezer goes out to look for the right person that Isaac is going to will get married to, he doesn't know how to make that decision. He doesn't know what kind of person Isaac might fall in love with. He doesn't know what she should look like, or what she should do for a living, or how tall she should be, or what color she might like to dress in. He does not know how to make this decision. But in the end, the way that he makes the decision about how to find the right girl for Isaac to meet and fall in love with and get married with is that he goes out and he sees Rebecca, who's going to be the one that Isaac will fall in love with. And the thing that he sees about Rebecca that makes him know that she's the right person to marry Isaac is that he watches her do something very kind and very thoughtful. He sort of sees her from a far distance off, and he hangs out and hides and makes sure that she can't see him. And he watches as she takes care of guests. She offers them something to drink, and she also makes sure that she takes care of the animals in the neighborhood, that she brings water for the camels who are thirsty. Maybe she brings some food for the neighborhood cats and dogs to eat. He notices that Rebecca is the kind of person that takes care of others and thinks about other people's needs. That's the thing that helps him know that she's the right person for Isaac to get married to. So I share that story with you today, not because I think any of you should be doing a lot of serious thinking yet about who you're going to marry. But I think what's helpful for us to think about from the story is that when we're trying to make decisions about who we want to be friends with, when we're trying to make decisions about what kinds of people we want to hang out with, one of the things we should be watching for is how kind and thoughtful and considerate those other people are. A good way to know if you ought to be friends with somebody is if you see them acting kindly to other people. That's a great way to decide who you want to make new friends with. And on the other side as well, if there's somebody that you are already friends with, it's helpful for you to watch the way that they treat new friends. Are they welcoming and kind? Are they generous and thoughtful? Do they let other people take turns when it's their turn to play? And if you're already friends with someone, you can let them know that you expect that they'll be kind and generous and thoughtful to other people, that that's important to you and people that you're going to be friends with. And the last piece is that all of us need to be careful to be the kinds of friends that are thoughtful and kind and generous and considerate, so that we can make friendships that will last for a very long time. Because the way that we act really affects the way other people see us. And if we act thoughtful and kind and generous, we're more likely to make the kinds of friends for whom kindness and generosity and considerateness are important. So I want to make sure that I want to encourage all of you to make the kinds of friendships that will bring kindness into the world, and also to be the kinds of friends that will bring kindness and goodness into the world as well. I want to wish you guys a great rest of the week. It's great to be with you, and I hope the rest of your evening is wonderful.
All right, so we thank you for that story and for giving us some good inspiration from this week's Torah portion. We now are going to take our loved ones in our hearts as we say our mourner's Kaddish together. These kind of complicated words, but it gets easier as you practice them, and so that's why we do it together every week. And so we all will rise together as we keep our loved ones in our hearts and we say this mourner's Kaddish together. Yit gadal ve'yit kadash shemei rabbah. Be'alma divra chirute ve'yamlich malchute. Bechayechon uvyomechon uvchaye dechol beit Yisrael. Ba'agala uvizman kariv ve'imru. Amen. Yehe shemei rabbah mevarach le'alam ul'almei almaya. Yitbarach ve'yishtabach ve'yitpa'ar ve'yitromam ve'yitnaseh ve'yithadar ve'yitaleh ve'yithalal shemei dekudsha brichu le'ela min kol birchata ve'shirata tushbechata ve'nechemata da'amiran be'alma ve'imru. Amen. Yehe shlama rabba min shemaya ve'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru. Amen. And so we are going to end our service this evening with one of my favorites, and it has some moves that go with it. So if you don't know these moves, I'm going to teach them to you. This is David Melech Yisrael, kind of an old classic. And so it goes like this. You're going to hit your knees twice. David, and then you're going to clap twice. Melech Yisrael, Chai, Chai, a little like that. So we do that way, we do this way, then we go like this, and then we go like this, and then we go like this, and then we go like this. All right, so put that together. We go David, Melech Yisrael, Chai, Chai, Vikayam. David Melech Yisrael, Chai, Chai, Vikayam. David Melech Yisrael, Chai, Chai, Vikayam. Shh, 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 shh. Now I'm going to yell a word, and you're going to yell the sort of counterpart word, the opposite word. And so I'm going to yell the word for dad, which is Abba, and Rabbi is going to yell.
I'm going to say the word for mom, which is Ima.
Ima.
Abba.
Ima Abba.
Abba Ima.
Abba Ima.
Ima Abba.
Ima Abba Abba Ima.
Abba Ima Ima Abba.
Ima Abba Ima Abba.
Abba Ima Abba Ima.
David Melech Yisrael, Chai Chai Vikayam. David Melech Yisrael, Chai Chai Vikayam. David Melech Yisrael, Chai Chai Vikayam. Shh, 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 shh. So now I'm going to say the word for yes, which is Cain.
And I'm going to say the word for no, which is Lo.
Lo.
Cain.
Cain, lo.
Lo, Cain.
Lo, Cain.
Cain, lo.
Cain, lo, lo, Cain.
Lo, Cain, Cain, lo.
Cain, lo, lo, Cain, lo, Cain, Cain, lo. David Melech Yisrael, Chai Chai Vikayam. David Melech Yisrael, Chai Chai Vikayam. David Melech Yisrael, Chai Chai Vikayam. All right, this one's for Stephanie. Shh, 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 shh. Okay, so I'm gonna say Avatiach, and you're gonna, which is watermelon, and you're gonna say Duvdevan, which is cherry.
This seems like a terrible idea.
I think it's a great idea.
Okay.
So I'm going to go avatiach,
Duvdevan,
duvdevan,
avatiach,
avatiach, duvdevan,
duvdevan, avatiach,
duvdevan, avatiach,
avatiach, duvdevan,
avatiach, duvdevan, avatiach, duvdevan.
duvdevan, avatiach, avatiach, duvdevan. Maybe?
David Melech Israel, Chai Chai Vikayam. David Melech Israel, Chai Chai Vikayam. David Melech Israel, Chai Chai. Super speed. David Melech Israel, Chai Chai Vikayam. David Melech Israel, Chai Chai Vikayam. David Melech Israel, Chai Chai Vikayam. All right, well, my friends, I think we did pretty well.
It was all right.
we could work on it. So I have a few announcements now that we've reached the end of our tefillah. I hope you guys had fun. I saw some good dancing and some good singing. So parents, if you're listening, please join the religious school committee this Sunday, November 15th, for a very special parent education program. It's called Love Starts the Learning, Raising Spiritual Children in the Digital Age, with Dr. Deborah Shine and Rabbi Dr. Jeffrey Shine. And our Helfman Herald will have more details for you. After the service, you are going to leave this meeting. If you have 5:30 small group Hebrew, you'll use your class link to access it. Miss Lucy and Miss Becca will be on this link until 6 to answer any questions. And last but not least, please make sure you have your teacher's email address and or phone number and contact them directly if you have any difficulty with small group Hebrew. And that's it, my friends. It's been so nice to be with you. Wishing you a lovely evening.